I still remember the moment I saw his name on the file. My hands froze. The room felt too small. The air felt heavy. I could hear my own heartbeat, loud and fast. Because that name, it was not just a patient. It was the man my father hated more than anyone in this world. And now, that man was lying in my hospital, under my care. My name is Michael Turner. I am a nurse in a small city hospital. I am 32 years old, and for most of my life, I tried to be a good son. But that day, everything changed. I grew up in a quiet town with my father, Robert Turner. He was a strong man, hardworking, strict. People respected him. Some people feared him. But at home, he was not easy. He did not shout all the time. He did not hit me, but his words, they were heavy. Be better. Don't be weak. Don't embarrass me. I heard these words again and again when I was a child. My mother died when I was young. I was only 8. After that, it was just me and him. He never talked about her. He never cried. He just became colder. When I was a teenager, I started to notice something strange. There was one name my father could not hear without anger. David Cole. Every time someone said that name, my father's face would change. His jaw would tighten. His eyes would go dark. One night, I asked him, "Dad, who is David Cole?" He looked at me for a long time. Then he said, very slowly, "He is the reason your mother is gone." I did not understand. "What do you mean?" My father stood up, walked to the window, and looked outside. "He ruined our family," he said. That was all. He never explained more. But from that day, I knew one thing. David Cole was our enemy. Years passed. I grew up. I studied hard. I chose to become a nurse. My father was not happy at first. "A nurse?" he said. "Why not a doctor? Why not something bigger?" "I want to help people," I told him. He looked at me like I was weak. But in the end, he said nothing more. That was his way. I started working at Green Valley Hospital when I was 26. It was not a big hospital, but it was busy. Every day I saw people in pain. Every day I helped them. Old people, young people, rich, poor. To me, they were all the same. Patients, people who needed care. I liked my job. For the first time in my life, I felt calm. My father did not visit me often, but he called sometimes, and every time it felt like a test. "Are you working hard?" "Yes." "Are you the best?" "I try." "Trying is not enough," he would say. I never felt like I was good enough for him, no matter what I did. One evening, after a long shift, I went to visit him. He was sitting in his chair, watching TV. "You look tired," he said. "Long day," I replied. He nodded. Then suddenly, he said, "Stay away from people like David Cole." My heart skipped. I had not heard that name in years. "Why are you talking about him now?" I asked. My father turned off the TV. "Because people like him, they smile in front of you, but behind your back, they destroy everything." I felt confused. "What did he do, Dad? You never told me." My father looked at me with sharp eyes. You don't need to know. Just remember this. If you ever see him, you walk away. His voice was cold. Final. I nodded slowly, but inside, I had questions. Many questions. A few weeks later, everything changed. It was a normal day at the hospital. Busy, loud, nurses moving fast, doctors giving orders. I was checking patient files at the nurse station. Then a new file came in. Emergency case, car accident, male, age 58. I picked up the file and opened it. Name, David Cole. My breath stopped. I read it again. David Cole. It felt unreal. My fingers tightened on the paper. No, I whispered. It could not be him. It had to be a different person, but something inside me told me it was not. Michael, my coworker Anna said. Room 12, that's your patient. I looked at her. Room 12? Yes, he's in bad condition, needs close care. I swallowed hard. Okay. My legs felt heavy as I walked down the hallway. Each step felt slower than normal. Room 12. The door was half open. I stood there for a moment. Then I pushed the door. He was lying on the bed, machines around him, beeping sounds. His face was pale. There were cuts on his forehead. His arm was in a cast. He looked weak, broken, not like an enemy. Just a man. A tired, hurt man. I stepped closer. My heart was beating fast. Mr. Cole? I said softly. His eyes opened slowly. He looked at me, confused. Where am I? He asked in a weak voice. You're in the hospital, I said. You had an accident. He closed his eyes again, then whispered, Am I going to be okay? I hesitated for a second. Then I said, Yes, you're safe here. Safe. The word felt strange, because I knew one thing. If my father found out, he would not think this man deserved to be safe. That night, I could not sleep. I sat in my apartment, thinking. My father's voice was in my head. He ruined our family. Stay away from him. Walk away. But I couldn't walk away. I was his nurse. It was my duty. The next day, I went back to the hospital. Room 12. I took a deep breath before entering. He was awake this time, looking at the window. Good morning, I said. He turned his head slowly. Morning, he replied. There was something in his eyes. Sadness, regret. I could not explain it. Do you have family? I asked while checking his chart. He smiled a little. A daughter, he said. We don't talk much anymore. I paused. Why not? He looked away. I made mistakes, he said quietly. That answer stayed with me. Mistakes. What kind of mistakes? The kind that destroy families? Later that evening, my phone rang. It was my father. I stared at the screen. Then I answered. Hello? Michael, he said. I heard something today. My chest tightened. What? A man named David Cole had an accident. My heart started racing. Yes, I said slowly. There was silence. Then he asked, Is he at your hospital? I could not speak for a moment. Then I said, Yes! My father's voice became cold. Listen to me very carefully, he said. Do not help that man. My hand shook. Dad, he's my patient. I don't care, he said sharply. He does not deserve your care. I felt something break inside me. But I'm a nurse, I said. I have to help him. No, my father said. You choose your family. There was a long silence. Then he said something that made my blood run cold. If you help him, you are not my son anymore. The call ended, and I sat there in silence. Because now I had to choose my father or my duty, and I knew this was only the beginning. The next morning, I woke up with a heavy feeling in my chest. I did not sleep well. My father's words kept playing in my head again and again. If you help him, you're not my son anymore. I sat on the edge of my bed and stared at the floor. I felt stuck. I loved my father. He was the only family I had. But I was also a nurse, and I had a job to do. I took a deep breath. Then I stood up. I will go to work, I said to myself. But inside, I was not strong. Not yet. At the hospital, everything felt different. The same hallway, the same people. But my mind was not calm. Every step I took felt like I was walking into a storm. I stopped in front of room 12 again. My hand touched the door, but I did not open it right away. I closed my eyes, just for a second. Then I pushed the door open. David Cole was awake. He looked at me when I walked in. Good morning, he said. His voice was still weak, but a little stronger than before. Morning, I replied. I tried to sound normal. I checked his chart. His condition was improving, but slowly. He still needed care. A lot of care. Pain level? I asked. 6, maybe 7, he said. I nodded. I'll give you something for that. As I prepared the medicine, I could feel his eyes on me. You look tired, he said. I stopped for a second. I'm fine, I replied. He gave a small smile. That's what people say when they are not fine. I did not answer. Because he was right. Later that day, I was in the nurse station when Anna walked over. You okay? She asked. I looked at her. Why? You've been quiet all morning, she said. I'm just tired. She crossed her arms. Michael, we work together every day. I can tell when something is wrong. I hesitated. Then I said softly, My father knows about my patient. Anna raised her eyebrows. And? He told me not to help him. She looked confused. What? Why? I shook my head. It's complicated. Anna sighed. Well, complicated or not, you're still a nurse. I nodded slowly. I know. But knowing and doing felt very different. That afternoon, I went back to room 12. David was sitting up a little now. He looked out the window again. You like the view? I asked. He smiled faintly. "It reminds me of my old house," he said. "Where is that?" "Near the lake. Quiet place." I nodded. Then he asked, "Do you have family, Michael?" I froze. He said my name so easily. "Yes," I said slowly. "My father." "Just him?" "Yes." He looked at me carefully. "You're lucky," he said. I frowned. "Lucky?" He nodded. "Family is important, even when it's hard." His words felt strange, because my family was hard, very hard. "Do you talk to him often?" he asked. "Sometimes." "And is it good?" I did not know how to answer. "It's okay," I said. He smiled sadly. "Okay can mean many things." There was silence in the room. Then he spoke again. "I had a family too," he said. I looked at him. "You mentioned your daughter." He nodded. "Her name is Hannah." There was warmth in his voice when he said her name, but also pain. "What happened?" I asked before I could stop myself. He took a deep breath. "I made bad choices," he said. "What kind of choices?" He looked down at his hands. "The kind that hurt people you love." I felt a strange feeling inside me, a mix of curiosity and anger. "Did you ever try to fix it?" I asked. He looked up at me. "Yes," he said, "but sometimes it's too late." Too late. That word stayed in my mind. That evening, I got another call from my father. I did not want to answer, but I did. "Hello?" "Did you do what I said?" he asked. My stomach tightened. "No," I said quietly. There was silence. Then his voice became sharp. "So you are helping him?" "He's my patient," I said. "I can't ignore him." "You can," my father said. "You just don't want to." I felt my hands shake. "That's not true." "Then prove it," he said. My heart started beating faster. "How?" "Ask to be moved to another patient," he said. "Stay away from him." I closed my eyes. "I can't do that." "Yes, you can." "No," I said more firmly this time. There was a long pause. Then he said something that hurt more than anything. "You are choosing him over me." I felt like someone hit me. "That's not fair," I said. "It is very fair," he replied. "I gave you everything, and now you protect my enemy?" "I'm not protecting him," I said. "I'm doing my job." "Your job?" He laughed coldly. "Your job matters more than your father?" I did not answer, because I did not know what to say. "Listen to me," he continued. "That man destroyed your mother's life." My heart stopped. "What?" "You heard me," he said. "He took something from her, something she could never get back." I felt confused. "What are you talking about?" But my father did not explain. He just said, "If you care about your family, you will stop." Then he ended the call. I stood there, holding my phone. My mind was spinning. What did he mean? What did David do to my mother? Why did no one tell me before? The next day, I went to work with more questions than answers. Room 12 felt heavier now. When I walked in, David looked at me and smiled. But this time, I could not smile back. "Is everything okay?" he asked. I took a deep breath. "Can I ask you something?" I said. He nodded. "Do you know my father?" He looked confused. "Your father?" "Robert Turner." The moment I said that name, his face changed. The smile disappeared. His eyes went wide, and for the first time, I saw fear. "Yes," he said slowly. "I know him." My heart started beating fast. "How?" He looked away. "It's a long story." "I have time," I said. My voice was not calm anymore. It was shaking. He stayed silent for a moment. Then he said, "I hurt your family." Those words hit me like a wave. "How?" I asked. He closed his eyes. "I never meant to." "But I did." My hands clenched. "What did you do to my mother?" He did not answer right away. And that silence, it hurt more than any words. Finally, he opened his eyes and said something that changed everything. "I loved her." My world stopped. "You... what?" I whispered. "I loved your mother," he said again. I felt like I could not breathe. My mind was spinning. This was not what I expected. Not at all. "You're lying," I said. "No," he replied softly. "It was a long time ago." I shook my head. "No, my father said you destroyed our family." He looked at me with deep sadness. "Maybe I did." At that moment, I did not know what to feel. Anger, confusion, pain, everything mixed together. Because now, the enemy my father hated was not just an enemy. He was a man with a past connected to my mother. And I knew this story was much bigger than I ever imagined. I stood there, frozen. I loved her. Those words would not leave my head. They kept repeating again and again, louder each time. I looked at him, at this man lying in the hospital bed, this weak, quiet man who just told me he loved my mother. "Stop!" I said suddenly. My voice was shaking. "Just stop talking." He nodded slowly. "I understand." "No, you don't understand," I said. My chest felt tight. "You don't understand anything." I turned away from him. I walked to the window. I needed air. I needed space. Because my mind was breaking. My mother. I barely remembered her. Just small things. Her soft voice. Her warm hands. The way she smiled at me. She was kind, gentle. She loved me. I knew that. Even if I was young. And now, this man was telling me. He loved her too. I turned back slowly. "When?" I asked. My voice was low. "When did this happen?" He looked at me carefully. "Before and after she married your father," he said. That was it. That was the moment something inside me shattered. "What did you just say?" I asked. My voice became louder. "After," I repeated. He nodded slowly. We stayed in touch." I felt my hands shaking. No, that's not possible," I said. "She was married. She had a family." "I know," he said quietly. "Then why?" I shouted. "Why would you do that?" He closed his eyes. "I was young. I was selfish," he said. "I thought love was enough." "Love?" I laughed bitterly. "That's not love. That's betrayal." The room felt too small again. The walls felt like they were closing in. "Did my father know?" I asked. He opened his eyes slowly. "Yes," he said. My heart dropped. "So all these years," I whispered. "That's why he hates you." He nodded. "Yes." I took a step back. I felt dizzy. Everything started to make sense. But at the same time, nothing made sense. "He said you destroyed our family," I said. "Is that true?" David looked at me. His eyes were full of regret. "Yes," he said, "I did." Tears filled my eyes. I did not want to cry, but I could not stop it. "Did she love you?" I asked. That question, it hurt the most. He looked away. Then he said softly, "Yes." That word broke me. I felt like the ground disappeared under my feet. My mother loved another man. While she was married to my father, while she was raising me, I covered my face with my hands. I could not breathe. I could not think. "This is not real," I whispered. "This is not real." "I'm sorry," David said. "I never wanted to hurt anyone." "Stop saying sorry," I shouted. "It doesn't change anything." The machines in the room started beeping faster. I realized I was losing control. I took a deep breath. Then another. I forced myself to calm down. Because I was still a nurse, and he was still my patient. But inside, I was falling apart. "I need to leave," I said. My voice was empty now. "I'll send another nurse." "Michael," he said. I stopped at the door. "I know you hate me," he said, "and you have every right to." I did not turn around. "But please, don't hate your mother," he added. "She loved you more than anything." I closed my eyes. Tears ran down my face. "Don't talk about her," I said. Then I walked out. I did not go back to room 12 that day. I could not. Instead, I sat in the break room, alone, staring at nothing. Anna came in later. She saw my face and stopped. "Michael, what happened?" I did not answer right away. Then I said slowly, "He had an affair with my mother." Anna's eyes widened. "What?" "My father was right," I said. "He destroyed everything." I laughed a little, but it was not a happy laugh. It was empty, broken. "I don't know what to feel," I said. "I feel angry, but also confused." Anna sat next to me. "That's normal," she said softly. "No, it's not," I replied. Nothing about this is normal. I stood up suddenly. I need to talk to my father. That evening, I drove to his house. My hands were tight on the steering wheel. My heart was beating fast. When I arrived, the lights were on. He was inside. I opened the door without knocking. He was sitting in his chair again, like always. He looked at me. "You know," he said. It was not a question. "Yes," I replied. My voice was cold. "I know everything." Silence filled the room. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. He did not answer. "Why did you let me find out like this?" I continued. His jaw tightened. "Because it doesn't matter now," he said. "It matters to me!" I shouted. He stood up slowly. "It shouldn't," he said. "She's gone." I felt anger rise inside me. "She was my mother." "And she betrayed me," he replied sharply. Those words hit hard. "So you hated him all this time?" I asked. "Yes," he said. "And I still do." "And her?" I asked quietly. He looked at me. His eyes were cold. "I don't talk about her," he said. That answer. It hurt more than anything else. "You never forgave her," I said. It was not a question. "No," he replied. I felt something break inside me again. "She made a mistake," I said. "She was human." "She made a choice," he said. "And that choice destroyed this family." "And what about you?" I asked. He frowned. "What do you mean?" "You shut everything down," I said. "You never talked, never healed. You just held on to anger." He stepped closer to me. "Don't tell me how to feel," he said. "I'm not," I replied. "I'm telling you what it did to me." He stopped. "I grew up in a house full of silence," I said. "No love, no warmth, just rules and anger." "That's not true," he said. "It is," I replied. "You lost her, but I lost both of you." Those words hung in the air. Heavy, painful. For a moment, I saw something in his eyes. Not anger, something else. But it disappeared quickly. "Are you still helping him?" he asked. I looked at him. "I don't know," I said honestly. "Then let me make it clear," he said. "If you go back to him, don't come back here." My heart dropped. "You would choose hate over your own son?" I asked. "I'm choosing respect," he said. "No," I said softly. "You're choosing pain." He did not answer. I turned and walked to the door. "Michael," he said. I stopped. "If you walk out now." I waited. "You are no longer my son." The same words again. I stood there for a long moment, my hand on the door, my heart breaking. Then I opened the door, and I walked out. That night, I lost my father. Or maybe, I finally saw the truth. I sat in my car, tears falling silently. Everything I believed in, my family, my past, it all felt broken. And the worst part? The man who caused all this pain was still lying in my hospital, waiting for me. And I did not know if I could face him again. That night, I did not go home. I stayed in my car for a long time. The street was quiet, the lights were dim, and I just sat there, thinking. I lost my father. Or maybe he pushed me away. I did not know which one hurt more. I looked at my hands. They were shaking, not from fear, but from everything I had been holding inside for years. Pain, silence, pressure. I took a deep breath, then another, and slowly, something inside me became clear. I could not change the past. I could not fix what my mother did. I could not erase what David did. And I could not control my father's anger. But I could choose who I wanted to be. I closed my eyes. I am a nurse, I whispered. I help people. Not some people. Not only the good people. All people. That was my answer. The next morning, I went back to the hospital. My steps felt stronger. Not easy, but steady. When I reached room 12, I did not stop this time. I opened the door and walked in. David was awake. He looked at me with surprise. I thought, "You wouldn't come back," he said. I walked closer. "I wasn't sure either," I replied. He nodded slowly. "I understand." I checked his chart. His condition was stable, still weak, but better. "I'll continue as your nurse," I said. My voice was calm, clear. He looked at me. "After everything, you still want to help me?" I looked him in the eyes. "No," I said honestly. "I don't want to." He looked down. "But I will," I continued, "because that's my job, and that's who I am." There was silence. Then he said softly, "You're stronger than I was?" I did not answer, because I was not sure if that was true. Days passed. I took care of him. I gave him medicine. I helped him sit up. I checked his progress. But it was not easy. Every time I looked at him, I remembered my father's pain, my mother's secret, my broken family. Sometimes I felt anger again. Sometimes I wanted to walk away. But I didn't. One afternoon, he spoke again. "Michael, can I ask you something?" I nodded. "Do you hate me?" he asked. I paused. Then I said, "I don't know." He nodded slowly. "That's fair." "I do know one thing," I added. "You hurt my family." "Yes," he said. "I did." "Why are you telling me all this now?" I asked. "Why not before?" He took a deep breath. "Because I don't have much time left to fix anything," he said. "And I don't want to leave this world as a man who only caused pain." His voice was weak, but honest. "I tried to find your father once," he continued, "to say sorry." I frowned. "When?" "Years ago," he said, "but he refused to see me." That sounded like my father. "I also tried to find you," he added. My eyes widened. "Me?" He nodded. "I wanted to explain everything, but I didn't have the courage." I felt something shift inside me. Not forgiveness, not yet, but something softer. "Your mother," he said. Then he stopped. "What about her?" I asked. He looked at me with gentle eyes. She loved you more than anyone, he said. She talked about you all the time. My throat tightened. She wanted to leave, many times, he continued, but she stayed because of you. I felt tears in my eyes again. She chose to be your mother, he said, even when she was unhappy. Those words, they stayed with me. For the first time, I did not feel anger when I thought about her. I felt understanding. A few days later, David's condition suddenly got worse. It was late at night. Machines started beeping loudly. His breathing became weak. "Michael," he whispered. "I'm here," I said quickly. I held his hand. "I don't have much time," he said. "Don't say that," I replied. He shook his head slightly. "Please, listen." I leaned closer. "I'm sorry," he said, "for everything." I closed my eyes. "I know sorry is not enough," he continued, "but it's all I have." Tears fell down my face. "I forgive you," I said softly. The words surprised me, but they were true, not because he deserved it, but because I needed it. His eyes filled with tears. "Thank you," he whispered. Then, slowly, his hand became still. The machines made one long sound, and just like that, he was gone. I stood there, silent, still. I did not feel anger. I did not feel hate. I felt peace. A few days later, I went to visit my father again. I stood in front of his house. My heart was calm this time. I knocked. He opened the door. He looked older, tired. "What do you want?" he asked. "I came to talk," I said. He stepped aside. I walked in. We sat in silence for a moment. "He's gone," I said. My father's face did not change, but his eyes did. "Good," he said. I looked at him. "No," I said quietly. "Not good." He frowned. "He said sorry," I continued. "He tried, in his own way." My father stayed silent. "I forgave him," I said. That made him look at me sharply. "You did what?" he asked. "I forgave him," I repeated. His jaw tightened. "Why?" he asked. "Because I don't want to live with hate," I said. Silence again. "You can keep your anger," I added, "but I won't carry it anymore." He looked at me for a long time. "You sound like her," he said finally. My heart stopped for a second. "Maybe that's not a bad thing," I replied. He did not answer. I stood up. "I'm not here to fight," I said. "I'm here to tell you, I still want you in my life." He looked surprised. "But not like before," I continued. "I won't live in fear. I won't follow your anger." My voice was steady, strong. "If you want a relationship with me, it has to change." He did not speak. I walked to the door. Before I left, I said one last thing. "I didn't choose him over you," I said. "I chose who I want to be." Then I walked out. This time, I did not feel broken. Weeks passed, then months. One day, my phone rang. It was my father. I stared at the screen. Then I answered, "Hello?" There was a pause. Then he said, "Are you free this weekend?" My heart softened. "Yes," I said. "Come by," he said. It was not a perfect ending, not a full apology, but it was a start, and sometimes a small step is enough. Now, when I think about everything, I understand something important. Pain can destroy you, or it can teach you. Hate can feel strong, but forgiveness is stronger. I lost my past, but I found myself. And that made all the difference. Moral lesson: you cannot control what others do, but you can control who you become. Holding onto anger only keeps you trapped in the past. True strength is choosing to heal, forgive, and move forward with peace in your heart.